What if your next level is not waiting on more money, more time, or more motivation? What if the real shift begins with how you protect your peace, sharpen your focus, and train your mind for the life you still deserve? Well, tonight we're talking about how to strengthen your brain power in midlife so you can think clearer, stress less, remember more, and move into your next chapter with power, purpose, and possibility.
You found the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, the space to embrace your wisdom, reignite your passions, and move boldly into what's next. I am Coach Wayne, the VIP coach.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis. We're here with insights, stories, and strategies to fuel your midlife journey. So take a breath, lean in. Your revolution starts now.
Stacy, you know,
Good day.
good day, good day. It is really day here in Florida. It is still sunny and bright, and I'm loving it. Yeah,
Yay. Yay. There
yeah,
really is something about that light, right? That helps
yeah.
you really feel a little bit more alive. And so I'm loving it too. I'm feeling well lit naturally and want to welcome our listeners to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I am Coach Stacy M. Lewis, a nonprofit executive, a midlife woman's coach, a lover of God and his people, and always excited to be here with my coach, Coach Wayne. Woo woo. Introduce yourself, Coach
Thank
Wayne.
you, Stacy. A pleasure. Always nice to catch up on a Thursday so we can do this thing for the people. And I am Coach Wayne, the VIP coach. I work with midlife Black men, helping them to navigate midlife so their second half can be their best half. Today, Stacy, today, we got to talk about this because a lot of folks are looked on as unmotivated, lazy. And when you come down to it, it's neither. It's
Mm.
really that they are overloaded, mental overload. So today we want to talk about taking care of the brain.
Yes, indeed. And I can't tell you how relevant this episode is for me. I have been working so hard, many deliverables, late evenings, then trying to get some of my own business in there. And my goodness, how fried my
Hmm.
brain has become. And so I'm really looking forward to the conversation, to the learning, to the sharing of this training our brain really as we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. This is a great time to talk about this, Coach Wayne.
It is. And speaking of brains frying, Stacey, I'm glad that you are aware, first of all. That's the first step. And you're going to be doing something about it, right?
Yes,
That
indeed.
is
Yes,
key.
indeed.
That is
Yes,
key.
indeed.
I was spending my whole day writing notes today for clients, Stacy.
Mm.
And just now, as we were in the green room, I told you I'm gonna go get me a yogurt. And I ran in the refrigerator, got the yogurt, got the spoon, went to the kitchen, washed my hands, and I came back in front of you without the yogurt or the spoon because I must be fried. Overload.
I, I thought you came back with the spoon, but no yogurt. But
Yeah,
either
yeah.
way,
The
it
spoon
is
was there.
really
Yeah.
it's truly reflective of what it is we're talking about, right? In
Yeah.
this season of our lives, there's so much mental overload happening. And to your point, we need to call a thing in order to really acknowledge like what is causing the mental overload. And so you just talked about the the capacity of the day that you were doing so much brain work during the day. And so It's not that we're lazy, it's not that we're unmotivated, and we're not losing our age, our edge just because of our age. But oftentimes we are mentally overloaded, and we need to acknowledge that and begin to really work on that.
Yeah. And again, Stacy, today, once again, this is not about shame in the game. We're
Oh
just calling it
no.
as it is. And we want to help to have you get some strategies to protect and to strengthen your mental power.
Mhm, mhm. Think about all of the things that we're doing, right, on a daily basis. We're managing our careers, our businesses, we're dealing with the bills and the parents and the offspring, the children, the young children, the adult children, the relationships, the health concerns. Oh my goodness, disappointments, grief, so many things that we are dealing with. It should be no surprise to any of us.
Yeah. And people of
It's
color in particular, Stace. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. No, talk about that.
Yeah, we tend to be performative by nature because we
Mm,
gotta show up, and we can't fall into that negative stereotype that is given to us so often by media and
mhm.
others. And so we're proving and we're pushing and we're performing and we're doing providing. And oftentimes we just fail to not only admit that we're burning ourselves out, but to even recognize it. It becomes the norm to be, we
Yeah.
think it's a medal to walk around saying, boy, we're working so hard.
Or to your point, we think it's normal and expected to walk around kind of stressed out and forgetful, and irritable and procrastinating and just confused or feeling disconnected. I cannot tell you, Coach Wayne, how many sisters I have had the gift of coaching where it was so very clear that the level of emotional numbness or disconnection was high, often because of the mental overload. So the mental overload is definitely real. To your point, no shame in the game, but this is something that we need to talk about and normalize so that we can, you know, deal with it.
So I have a question, and Stace, if somebody wants to answer this, or we can just throw it out there for folks to think about, why
Sure.
is it that so many high performing folk not admit that they're functioning on overdrive overload? What's up with that?
Yeah, it's funny. I have been that high functioning person before, and I think sometime we feel like the acknowledgement or the slowdown is going to impact
Mhm.
the level of our function. Although it is realistically the opposite. We're functioning and driving and feel like if we downshift a little bit, if we take a day off, if we uh kind of sit a little bit more silent in the meeting or show up fully present but not actively engaged, that we're then going to be seen differently or even
Mhm.
perceive ourselves differently as, oh, now I'm not really, I'm not functioning, I'm not high functioning, I'm not delivering the way I would. And
Yeah,
for me, that's one of the things that, I can acknowledge have come up in my own experience. What are your
yeah.
thoughts, coach?
Well, sometimes you got to recognize that we're not losing our minds. We just simply need to reset, right?
Mm,
And reset doesn't always sound like another retreat and a motivational speech, right? Sometimes it's a lot more than that. And again, don't hold on to everything. We have to become vulnerable and share and be authentic and honest to firstly ourselves.
right. I agree with you fully. Let's take a pause to say good evening to Sister Audrey. It is always good to have you. You are our favorite therapist. Gotta say it. Gotta say it. Welcome to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Coach Wayne, when you dropped the little nugget about it's not another motivational speech, right? I think that is so it's so relevant because it it is from that push through, press through mindset, right? In particular in the high functioning arena, when we have a lot of deliverables, we feel like, oh no, I just need to psych myself up, or I need to call my coach and have my coach pump me up, pump me up, pump me up.
Yes,
And the
yes,
reality is sometimes you need to step back and
yes,
begin to
yes.
breathe. And so as we get to later in the episode, we'll talk about some strategy, some tips, but I think it's so important to reveal what's going on so that we can heal what's going on.
Yeah. And you're saying we gotta say, well, Stacy, we are always saying, even if it's not allowed, to ourselves. And the language that we use as midlifers, we have to be very careful because
Yeah.
we know words cast spells. So the
Mm,
language that we use
true.
oftentimes, like, I'm getting old, I'm too old for that. My memory's so bad. We start manifesting that behavior.
That's right. That's right. As we were children or even young adults, they were like, "No, if you keep saying you can't do it,
Yeah.
you can't do it." And so if we keep saying, "I can't focus anymore," or, I think my best days, my best years are behind me, that that's going to result in truth because
Yeah.
that is what you're practicing up here,
Yeah.
and it will result in what you practice externally.
So we're saying that midlife requires a new language, new
Mm.
phraseologies, new diction, just new way of saying to yourself and out loud who you are and what's happening for you. For example, let's reframe. Let's throw some reframes in. Instead of saying I can't remember anything anymore, how about I'm training my mind to become sharper? I like
Mm.
that.
Mhm. Yeah, I might need to write that write
Yeah,
that one down.
that's
Put
cool.
put it up, on my computer screen. I'm not too old to learn this. I bring wisdom and discipline and experience to this new season.
My best years are behind me. You've heard that one, Stacy? Too old. My years are behind me now.
Yes, I have, and
How
I
about
I refuse that one. What you
yeah?
got?
How about saying my next chapter deserves my focus?
Mm, because it really does. Right? What you focus on, like, I all of a sudden was bombarded by about 14 different sermons I've heard over the years, right? About how what you focus on grows. What
Hmm.
you focus on, really begins to lead you or tells the tale. And so
Hmm.
I love that you positioned it that way. We
Hmm.
have to remember that, our brain is listening to the words that are coming out of do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Our
Yes,
brain
it is.
is listening to the words that we keep repeating. So what a good opportunity to remind yourself, even in this season, even if you're feeling exhausted or overwhelmed or forgetful, that you get to give yourself a different story, to shift the narrative, to reframe some of that negativity.
And I would prompt folks to start thinking about this. What type of talk, language that you have been using that has gotten in the way of you making powerful decisions?
Mm, mm, yeah. Have you been really defeating yourself, right, in that
Mhm.
talk? And what limiting phrases, right, do we in this season as midlifers, do we tend to repeat without realizing the impact? You
Hmm.
gave some great examples, Coach Wayne, and we have to remember those limiting phrases that we're repeating do have impact.
Of course. I call it creating opportunities, positive possibilities. So you
Mm,
gotta ask, even not just the phrases, Stace. We have to ask more powerful questions of possibilities to come up with more powerful opportunities to you know lead a better life.
yeah, 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 and make sure that that self-talk is really about confidence, not about the negativity, right? That really is something that is empowering you as you say it to yourself, as opposed to tearing yourself down. Which I don't know about you, Coach Wayne, but I can do that well enough. I have to remind myself that you know what, change, shift that language.
Moi too. Me too. Yes. I've been studying my languages,
I
Stacey.
was getting ready to say you brushing up on that French. All right, all right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That Jamaican French with a little Spanish, all mixed
Moi,
up.
man.
Moi, man. Yes, sir. Stacey, we talk about language and it's stress. We're talking about stress now. We create that for ourselves too when we're talking about overload for the brain and the mind, the
Hmm.
mental health, and it affects a lot of things. It affects our mood, it affects our focus, our memory, our patience, the way we show up.
Hmm. Hmm. It really does. It affects our creativity and what it is we're putting out into the world. Stress is a beast, right? It
Yeah.
definitely, it also, we talked in a couple of episodes ago just around, how holding on to stress, how it often impacts your heart and your weight and things of
Mhm.
that nature. And so so often people think that they're just tired, but it could be more so that they're, in survival mode,
Yep.
just pedaling, right? And
Yeah.
that chronic stress can really even make the simplest decision feel heavy.
Yeah. With the brothers, this is something that happens for us. How you doing, bro? I'm good. You know, that's not true. And you say you're good, but you're tight and you just need to unwind. You are carrying too much. And so as we talk about mental health, this is a special yow to the brothers. Stop being I'm good, all right? And reach out and be honest and let somebody else who cares about you pour into you, right? So
Yeah.
you can be okay and stop walking around so wound up.
Yeah, for many sisters that I encounter, the normal response is, "I'm fine.
Mm,
How are you?" "I'm fine."
mhm. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
our listeners, I'm just smiling big and nodding my head back and forth, right? "I'm fine."
Yeah.
But they're really not fine. There's so much going on, and all of that is just bubbling up right behind the mask.
Absolutely. The mask and bubbling up. And oftentimes it's just you're just a strike pin away from implosion,
Yeah.
right? And if
Mhm.
somebody's in your space from explosion, and so you want to manage that. There's some relatable signs. You walk into a room and then you forget why you walk. I don't know if it happened to you, Stacy. Happens to folks when they're getting old, stressed out.
Yes. Yes. Yes, and yes. And recognizing that, going back to what we said earlier, it's not about saying, "Oh, I'm getting old." It is about that focus, right? Like what was I going to do? We're moving so fast. And with our stress levels and our responsibilities, for me, I realized that I can't pour out for as an empty vessel. And
Yeah.
so during this season, recognizing that, I need to take some time off. Like I was walking into rooms and I'm like, what did I come in here for? Right? I'm doing the laundry and then I go to get something that's in the hamper and I get to my room. Or, what did I come in here for? How often do we do that? Right?
Yeah.
Or have to read the same thing over and over
Yeah.
as if we lack comprehension. It's not that we lack comprehension, it's just that we're stressed out sometimes.
And very often you're working with folks who just are indecisive. They're indecisive because they're carrying too many things. They're overwhelmed,
Yeah.
overload, burning out.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Mhm.
not, listen, some folks think that they'll get a medal for saving their PTO and hoping that they get an attaboy or attagirl because they have
Something.
not been off or out. You got PTO for a reason. And you can take a mental health day or two, do it.
It I couldn't agree with you more. And we, as someone that, runs partners to run an organization, it is there you could see when people are banking their time or taking an hour here and an hour there. And that's why many companies, businesses implement these rules where it's like, okay, you can only carry over 5 hours, right? You're
Yeah.
not carrying over all of your time year to year to year, because the whole gift of time from a company is to take it and refresh and restore. And I will say to you, Wayne, when I submitted for 5 days off, just 5 days, right? I got a lot going on, just 5 days. And there's one day I need to work a couple hours, and then in one day in the middle of the week, I'm running a couple of meetings. So, but just 5 days off. I cannot tell you how many times my colleague, the CEO, wrote to me. She was like, I'm so glad you're taking some time off. I'm so glad you're taking some time off,
Yep.
because it's part of that. The signs that I was giving out, right? We're talking about the signs that happen when we're all stressed out and
Yes.
brain
Yes.
fried. The signs that I was giving out were clearly impacting, right? If she's
Yep.
writing me back saying, I'm so glad you're taking some time
Get
off.
out of here,
And
Stacy. Close the door behind you. you know,
I would never miss an episode, though. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't want to do that. So,
Good luck. Thank
and
you.
like therapist Audrey is saying, right? Sometimes we're also so easily distracted because of the stress levels that we're carrying.
Yeah. And a lot of times we are functioning, again, our community. We function so often in that survival mode that, you know, it's hard to smell when the burnout candle is being kindled. We're just
Mhm.
there all the time. And so
Mhm.
the warning
Mhm.
signs, it's kind of like if you're driving your car all the time, Stacy, with the engine light on, and you say, "Oh, I know what it is. It needs a spark plug or whatever." Spark plugs don't exist, but I'm just using reference here. But whatever is happening, and something really goes wrong, you can't tell that it's really about to die on you because you've been functioning uh, in a defunct kind of way for so long. And that's
Yeah.
what happens when you're stressed out in survival mode and you don't do what you are doing right now, Stacy, checking in to take care of self.
Yeah. Yeah. So as coaches, we encourage you to ask yourself, what does survival mode look like in this season of my life?
Yeah,
And is that where I am in
yeah,
survival mode?
yeah. Focus is really a superpower. This
Mm.
idea of us multitasking, it's a myth. Folks, I know we do a lot of stuff. We go into business and wind up doing busy work, right? But let's face it, you can't really give your best at five things at the same time. So focus. It's important to focus, and all there are strategies that for another meeting we can talk about that, Stacy, where you delegate responsibilities or just
Mm.
delete certain things, but focus.
Mhm. Yeah, really, really putting those things, writing them out, getting them out of your brain so that you can begin to prioritize.
Yeah,
These distractions, like you said, multitasking is a lie. There's just,
yeah,
it just doesn't work. We're really just fooling ourselves. The distractions really is one of the biggest enemies to our productivity, to our memory, to our connection, right? How often are you engaged with people and they got their phone that's buzzing? To our clarity. We have to really pay attention to when we're being distracted and what are the opportunities to take a beat, put the phone down, or and as the little kids would say, look at my eyes, right? Pay attention.
that's funny, Stacy.
Look at my face.
that's that's true. To add to what you were saying, Stacy, you touched on it. Let's share a simple tool. It's just a quick 10-minute focus exercise for reset. And it starts with number one, pick one task.
Mm,
One, create whatever plan you want, ranking, pick one, and then put your phone away or your tablet or whatever it is that's a distraction. Set a timer or an
mm.
alarm for 10 minutes. Call Siri or Alexa or something and say, give me 10 minutes. And then do only that one thing for 10
Mhm,
minutes,
mhm.
undistracted. And then if your mind wanders, get it back on time gently, be kind to yourself, and get back in until the 10 minutes is done.
Yeah, it's such a good practice, right? Because it slows you down and the one thing makes you focus.
Yeah.
Just the one thing, one thing. And put the phone away. Don't use the phone as the timer, because then what's going to happen?
You got to get on there to
Somebody's going to text you.
right. That's
You're going to get a notification and then you are distracted.
That's right. And Stacey, in a sense, that's what we do oftentimes as coaches, help people with mindfulness, just
Mhm.
even eating, right? Go sit down and take the phone out of the dining room so you can focus on every morsel of food that you
Mm.
put in your mouth and enjoy that. Breathe it in. Don't be distracted with the phone and continue with the overwhelm with the distractions.
Yeah, and I would add, Wayne, before we move on, that is, that 10 minutes is even a good practice in relationships,
Mhm.
right? Just really giving someone 10 minutes of real focus. How many of us simply want to be seen?
Yeah.
And that 10 minutes of real focus, okay, honey, I've got 10 minutes, right? Whether it's your offspring, someone you work with, your spouse, your partner, I've I've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's, just sit here and look at each other or hold hands or whatever it is, right? The
Yeah.
one thing. But it can really be a benefit to relationships as well. And Dr. Audrey says, yep, powerful exercise. All right.
You
We're
do
winning.
listen, you do not need always anyway more hour in your day. What
Mm.
you need or more
Hmm.
hours. What you need sometimes is just more presence in the hour that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Let's
good.
let's talk about some brain exercise that folks can
Mm.
use, Stacy. Um,
Yeah. The brain is like what? It's like the body, right? Wayne, I know you go to the gym, you post your little gym snippet sometime, making sure everybody sees you're all pumped up.
uh,
Um, but we need to take our brain to the brain gym sometime. And so I love talking about brain exercises from a standpoint of simplicity,
Yeah.
right? It's not like you have to go someplace and pay $1,000. Some
Yeah.
brain exercises are simple.
Yeah, word games, puzzles, reading. They say leaders are readers. And if you,
Hmm.
to your point, Stacy, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the brain prunes, right? If you're not using parts of it. And so challenge the brain. You're not too old to take up a course and learn to do a skill that you never had the first 40 years of your life.
You're absolutely right, Coach Wayne. I'll tell you, my um, cousin is about to be 88, and she'll be 88, I think, on Saturday. So
Woo-hoo.
happy birthday, Beverly. She sometime I want to argue it just for the financial cost of it, but she has a subscription to the Sunday New York Times. Do you know
Mm,
how much that is? That's like
no.
$40 a month or something like that,
Uh,
right? But she gets the paper once a week, the Sunday edition. It's probably like this thick,
yeah, yeah,
right? About 3-4 inches thick.
yeah,
And but I believe that it helps, it helps her. It gives her
yeah,
something to do. She's reading, she's thinking, and she's engaging in
yeah.
doing something that is not just sitting around. And we've talked about in other episodes the downsides of lack of stimulation, the downsides of lack of movement, and that lack of utilizing your brain definitely has a downside. So we certainly want to encourage you to recognize the simplicity of reading, learning something new, like you were saying, solving problems, and even deep conversation. You ever get
Mhm.
into one of those conversations and you're really thinking, you're thinking in real time, and you're conversing and you're processing their ideas and they're processing your ideas.
Yep. Yeah.
That's simple brain work right there.
And I
Simple
wasn't
brain.
going to leave without this one, Stacey, because this is one of my favorites. Journaling, right?
Oh.
Because the journaling piece, and I don't mean journaling necessarily typing it out. I'm talking about writing.
Yeah.
I think, relatively speaking, I have pretty decent penmanship, so I like the cursive and the curls.
Hmm.
But it does something. It's been shown that you're right. When you write, you engage different neurons more so
Yeah.
than when you are just simply typing something. So if you can write, you're really stimulating the brain and helping it to juice up and grow.
Juice
Uh,
up. Juice up.
yeah, let it happen, let it flow. Right. Yeah, read, write, and
Yes, you are
replicate.
absolutely right. And Dr. Audrey, I will tell Beverly you said happy birthday. The reality is that this season of midlife is truly a powerful time to reassess your health, your careers, your relationships, your money, your purpose, your peace, your personal growth in ways that are fostering your mental health, in ways that are fostering you not feeling so stressed and unfocused, but in ways that are fostering you really moving forward and inspired about being in midlife. I'm still celebrating the richness of midlife. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, Coach Wayne, telling you.
yeah. Stacey, before we go, which direction you want us to take? Shall we give a simple exercise, their next chapter map, or shall we get into the 7 day
Hmm.
brain power challenge?
I would say let's give a simple, because I think the 7 day will follow up with the 7 day, because a little simple and then a little bit more complex. So why don't you go with the simple?
All right, all right. Don't push me. My next chapter, So
Mm,
put this phrase in the center of a page, my next chapter. Then create branches. And the branches will be various dimensions of your daily life, right? Health, career, relationships,
mm.
money, purpose, peace. What else you got there, Stacy?
Faith.
Personal, yeah, faith,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
personal growth. And then on each branch, just write down one thing that needs your attention.
One thing.
Yeah.
One thing. Because if you're anything like me, I'm writing 6 things under each branch. And then it gets overwhelming, and then I'm distracted, and then I lose focus. So let's really take that one thing to heart, because it really it really is helpful to be able to focus on the one thing.
And here's what you do, Stace. I think if you do that and you write that one thing, give each one thing that 10-minute focus exercise we talked about before as a strategy to move the needle.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that, Coach Wayne. You a little on fire tonight, a little on
Yeah.
fire. Yeah,
My
yeah,
house smells like
yeah.
pineapple, Stacy. The pineapple is making me feel good.
Well, let's share the 7-day brain power challenge. And maybe what we should do, Coach Wayne, I think I have an idea, is maybe we should actually do a little challenge on our social handles. We should put this 7-day challenge
I like
on
that.
our social handles to really encourage our Midlife Revolution Unleashed community to engage in this brain power challenge.
I
On
like that.
day one, right? On day one, you're going to change your language. You're going to stop saying, I'm losing it. You start saying, I'm sharpening my mind. What's day two, Coach Wayne?
Move that body. Yeah. Take a 20-minute walk or do some kind of light movement. Get off the hiney.
Get
Yes,
off the
Stace. Day
hiney.
two.
Yes.
He's right. He's
Yes,
right.
indeed. On day three, you're going to challenge your brain. You're going to read, do some journaling, as Coach Wayne talked about, maybe a puzzle, or have a deep, meaningful conversation.
Day four. Day four. We're down to day four, folks. You're gonna do one thing. Take one single task and practice what we just showed you. Zoom in, full attention for 10 minutes. If you can do more, but 20 is probably where you want to give it a break and get back in. One thing, day four.
One thing. Day five, you are going to map just one area of your life. You're going to write down one goal or one problem and then branch out possible next steps.
This one, Stacy, you may have to go look for the person to get this right if you don't have the
Mm,
right circle. Have a meaningful conversation with someone who helps you to think. Not a
yes.
naysayer or just a blabbermouth, but someone that's going to stretch you a little bit to think and have a real a profound type of conversation.
Yes, I love it. And day seven, we're going to practice a little stillness. We're going to spend 5 quiet minutes breathing, praying, meditating, or reflecting. This
Yeah,
is our 7-day brain power challenge. And I'm
yeah.
challenging my co host and partner in podcasting crime to work together to put out there this 7-day brain power challenge, so that we can really see some momentum from our Midlife Revolution Unleashed audience.
Trust me, Stacy, when I'm done with these folks, you're going to have some folks with some big heads walking around town.
That's okay, as long as they're feeling on top of their brain power, they are focused, they are not stressed. I'm all about it. I'll take the big heads.
That's right. That's right. So before we go, Stacy, um, I want to remind folks, if you haven't done that yet and you've been checking our podcast out, you got to give us a little bit of a like and subscribe to us. That way the word gets out to more folks, and we feel like we're accomplishing and having impact more widely. So do that
That
for us,
indeed is
please.
the goal. That's the goal. I appreciate you always remembering to say that, and share this episode with someone that you know that might really need a little boost in the brain area.
Train your mind, protect
That's
your
right.
peace, feed your focus, strengthen your next chapter. Stace, how will the good folks find you for some massive level coaching?
Can be reached at the stacymlewis.com. And certainly, if you are catching this on any social media platform, know that you already know how to get in touch with me. And our contact information is always in the show notes. Coach Wayne, what you got?
Hey, folks, jump on my website, viptransformativeliving.com. Check out my handles and just roam around. Hit me up, and I'm happy to get with you.
Yeah, check out his free assessment, y'all.
Yeah,
Don't
that's on the
don't don't
site.
miss that opportunity.
Thank you,
Mhm.
Stace.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Stace,
Mhm.
next week, what we got for the folks? We have a special show.
Yeah, we do. We're going to have a really rich conversation with a special guest about retirement, but not retirement like your parents' retirement,
Yeah.
retirement in this midlife season, retiring a new way with a new mindset. It's going to be a great episode with our guest, Greg. So check it out. Check it out.
See, I'm already in my money colors, Stacy. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm a week early. I got my money. Show me the
Yes,
money.
you are wearing the money colors, man. You're wearing the money colors. I know, Coach Wayne, that tonight has indeed been a joy. And I know that I'm going to see you at the top.
And I know that I am supporting you as always. We're going to do this again next week, same time, with our special guest.
That's right. Thank you so much for listening to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Midlife Revolution Unleashed. We're grateful you're part of this journey.
If you love this episode, share it, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode.
I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.